Well, the White House is at the center of a controversy ahead of a big match today in the World Cup. U.S. media outlets report that U.S. President Donald Trump pulled strings with FIFA to overturn the suspension of a top U.S. player and get him into the game. Katie Nicholson is with us from Washington on this story. So, Katie, could you take us through how this controversy began?
This is just a huge shock rippling across the soccer world right now. So basically, U.S. player Folarin Balogun, he got a red card and a one-game suspension back on Wednesday in the game against Bosnia. This was canceled by FIFA ahead of today's big U.S.-Belgium match. So just a reminder that this is one of the U.S.'s top players, and he was supposed to sit this knockout match out after a really nasty-looking tackle last Wednesday. So refs had reviewed what was essentially a slow-motion video. You see Balogun's foot rake down the leg of a Bosnian player and coming down on his ankle. So true, like a lot of calls, this World Cup, not everybody really thought that it merited a red card or that it was even intentional, including the U.S. men's coach. But it is the kind of tackle that often many analysts have suggested that you see players ejected from games in European leagues for doing sort of similar tackles. One of the people, though, who it appears was not on board with this decision, U.S. President Donald Trump. Multiple news outlets reporting that this basically was after a phone call from the U.S. president to the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, about this call on the pitch, that this decision by FIFA was reversed. And so on Sunday, essentially, FIFA just makes this decision, tosses out the ruling, and then Trump posts on social media an acknowledgement of this decision, saying thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice. So the reversal, highly unusual, doesn't appear. Many soccer nerds have run to the annals trying to find out when the last time a reversal like this happened. Doesn't appear to have happened since the early 1960s. The reversal of a decision of this sort of magnitude. And it's being met with outrage in parts of the soccer world. And it is really worth remembering here the lengths to which Infantino has gone to curry favor with the U.S. president, even creating a peace prize for him. You might remember that he put around his neck at the Kennedy Center. The optics of political interference here and of favoring the last remaining host nation in the tournament being met with sharp criticism around the world right now.
I imagine a lot of reaction to this. What are you hearing?
Well, let's start with the Belgians, okay? Because they are, of course, going to meet the U.S. today in Seattle on the pitch. Royal Belgian Football Association saying that it was astonished by this, that it was exploring all options, and that would include an appeal. The appeal deadline, it was granted the right to appeal this decision. That appeal deadline was at 8 Eastern time, waiting for official confirmation at this moment that an official appeal was submitted. So that's still sort of up in the air, but certainly it seemed like they were moving towards that. And UEFA, Europe's soccer body, released a statement scathing, really, calling the decision unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable, and saying that it had crossed a red line. So you got to remember, calls like this, they're not just about fair play, they're also about player safety, in theory, right? To ward off unnecessary injury. Soccer fans are also mixed in their response to this. Just take a listen to a couple of fans.
Surprised, I was on my way here in the airport and I saw the news. I thought it was a hoax, but I was so happy to hear and to confirm that he's playing. This is great. We need him.
Never thought that would happen. Seems a little weird, but excited to have him back, I guess.
It's deserved. He did not deserve a red card, so it's fantastic. Changes the game. Belgium should be scared.
Now, there's also been other football bodies that have weighed in, other leagues. The German Football Association president actually has asked FIFA to address how this decision was made and whether it was tied to a call, in fact, as has been reported, that Trump made to Infantino. And it essentially says that, this impression that there's been some sort of active political interference in the sport needs to be dispelled, and saying that the integrity of the competition and the credibility credibility of FIFA are at stake. And FIFA's former head, Sepp Blatter, he's also been out on social media today. This is his post, Sepp Blatter, saying, red cards are not overturned by political phone calls. They are overturned by rules, evidence, and independent bodies. If a U.S. president intervenes with the FIFA president and a player is suddenly cleared before a World Cup knockout match, the question is unavoidable. Quo vadis, FIFA. Football must never become a playground for political power. So it's just some of those reactions coming in here. And I think the other thing that's really has folks concerned is if this kind of decision can be overturned before such a consequential match, what next? What other decisions? What other yellow cards could be thrown into contention after the fact? What happens if other heads of state make phone calls to Infantino? What if other sort of countries that are hosting make such calls, and will they get what is being perceived here as potentially sort of preferential treatment? So a lot of this sort of building and adding to the intrigue tonight ahead of the match. And as some people have pointed out, it's also it's going to take sort of the focus off the tactics on the field and bringing sort of the focus of the match into the political world.
I'm sure this will be a talker throughout most of today. Thank you so much, Katie.
You're welcome.